What's up, guys? I hope you all are doing well. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, we are going to start a completely new tutorial series on the channel. And this tutorial series will be one in which we explore a new Python package. This package is called Pandas. Now, if you are wondering what name I will give to this tutorial series, the name of this tutorial series is Data Science / Analysis with Pandas. Now, in case you are hearing of the Pandas package for the first time, this tutorial is designed for you. It will take you on a journey from beginner to competitive. If you have some experience with Pandas package, or if you've heard of it or seen it before, then this tutorial series is going to help you to build up on the existing knowledge that you have. Now guys, I should mention, right? You see, data science and data analysis. So basically, data science in this day and age, it is a very popular field. It's a career path in IT that basically deals with big data. Okay. Now, we are not focusing too much on the disciplines themselves. We are focusing on the tools and the techniques that are used inside that discipline. So essentially, just by having a good solid foundation of the Pandas package, the NumPy package, the SciPy and matplotlib package, you can call yourself a junior data scientist, because data science, one of the major steps of data science is the data analysis portion, okay, or the data engineering portion. And you will have the ability to perform the job of a data engineer or data analyst. So let's get to it. Now, guys, I should mention, right, that this is the first video in the tutorial series. I will try to keep this video a bit short, okay, maybe 10 to 15 minutes or so, but we'll see how that goes. But apart from that, you guys know we are going to have a simple short discussion about what pandas is, what you can expect from this tutorial series, and I will walk you through the installation process of the package itself. So let's talk a bit. Now you see, the focus of this tutorial, number one, is pandas. Now pandas contains data structures, okay, and data manipulation tools and techniques that we can use to make data cleaning and data analysis processes faster and easier, okay? Because pandas itself, in case you are wondering, it is a sort of shortened form of two words. The two words are panel data, okay, panel data or datas. Now you see, essentially pandas is a sort of contraction of these two words here, panel data. Now in case you are wondering what is panel data, this brings me to talk about the next major point that I need you guys to be aware of. Okay, you see, the whole point of pandas is to allow developers to represent and visualize their data in a tabular format or table form. Okay, because you see, what you are going to see as you work with pandas and become more accustomed to it is that the pandas package is used very often in conjunction with NumPy, SciPy, as well as the matplotlib package. And as you guys know, we've covered those three packages on the channel itself. We've done NumPy, we've done SciPy, and we just recently finished our matplotlib tutorial series. Now, pandas, essentially, it is going to have our data to be able to be stored and represented in a table. This table has rows, it has columns. Now, you may ask yourself, and you may wonder, right? We've dealt with multi-dimensional arrays, in NumPy and so on, and those arrays had the ability to, have rows, to have columns, and that in itself is a table. So you may ask, what is so different about pandas? When you say table, what is it that you mean? So you see, guys, essentially I should mention, right, that pandas gives us access to a very sophisticated table. Now this table is called a data frame. And don't stress about this, we are just having a discussion. You are going to get to see all of this in action in actual Python code, okay, in the videos to come. Now, essentially, there's one main difference that sets the pandas data frame or table apart from multi-dimensional arrays, okay, that have the ability to store data in a tabular like format. Now, that is the fact. Now what sets them apart is the fact that, you see, pandas has been specifically and explicitly designed, okay, just for working with data that is heterogeneous, that is tabular in nature. Okay, it's sort of hard coded into pandas that the most powerful feature that it offers is giving access to developers and allowing them to work with data in the form of a table. And keep in mind that this is all being done with code and in your IDE itself. You do not have to turn to third-party softwares or apps, that's going to sort of manage the table for you. No, everything can be done using Python commands and from your IDE itself. Okay, so at this point in the tutorial series, I should mention that we are going to get accustomed to working with data sets. Okay, a data set or data sets is basically, think of it as several just think of it as a table, guys. That's really what a data set is. It's a file in which you have several lines of data, okay? Just like a table. Instead of having the lines of a table, these rows have their values separated by a comma. We refer to that as CSV, comma separated values. So this, to be honest, is extra information that I am just passing to you because I am preparing you for grasping knowledge that's pertaining to data science and data analysis. Okay, so that is what we are doing here, comma separated values. Now, you see, Pandas is one of the most well documented open source projects that can be used for data science and data analysis in the present time. Okay, so this is why I recommend that you use this package and just get some knowledge about this package. It will really stand out and look good on your CV, especially if you are applying as a developer for those data related roles. Okay, so I want to walk you through installation. So that's what we'll do now. Installation is easy with Python, especially since we have our package manager, which is pip. So what you guys want to do is just type pip, make sure you have pip installed on your machine. And if you don't have pip installed, I highly recommend that you Google a way to actually check how to install it. I will not be showing you how to install pip, guys, but I should mention that as far as I know, okay, every IDE software that I've installed up to this point in time, it by default it comes with pip, okay, the Python, the package installation manager. So what you'd like to do next is just type pip install pandas. After you have done that, you may type or press enter and just wait a few seconds. Be a bit patient. Pandas will take a few seconds or so to install on your machine. And what you will see is that I already have pandas installed, and so I am unsure why it is taking so long. But in the meantime, what I'd also like to mention to you, you guys know, right? The way in which we were working with the NumPy, you guys know we've covered the NumPy package. We were working with the NumPy as import NumPy as NP. Now this is Pandas tutorial series, and what you will see, a kind of norm in inverted commas, a norm that has been, triggered across all or several developers, is to import pandas as PD. Okay, this is one of the best ways you can import pandas. You guys know, right? PD is the alias. You can call this anything you like, as long as you keep it standardized in your code script. Now, PD is kind of like the default way or most common way that is used to import pandas when we are working with it. So as you guys can see, right, I already have pandas, and by now your package is likely to have been installed. If not, you may pause the video and continue after your package has installed. So let us talk a bit of, much more in-depth things now. You see, PD, as I told you, it refers to pandas. Now, one thing I'd like to mention, we've just covered this thing called a data frame. You may be still wondering what exactly this is. Not to worry, because we are going to build up to that. Now you see, guys, Pandas package has several objects inside it that we can use. These objects take on the form of functions, methods, etc. Now, the thing is, there's a few objects that we are going to cover in the beginning, and we are going to really kind of hone our skills on these objects, because they are, I would say, the most crucial to know. Okay, especially since we are taking into consideration we are using Python, or pandas rather, from the perspective of a data scientist or data analyst. So let's get to it. From pandas import series, data frame. These are the objects, guys, series and data frame. Now, let us work with these. So, if you'd like to make life easier for yourself, import pandas as PD. So let's work with this. We won't do from pandas import series, data frame. I'd like to keep it standardized from the beginning for you guys. So go ahead, import pandas as PD. I have it up here, so I will not retype that. So let's get started. This is where we can begin. I will add comments, as you know we do. Well, what we do is we comment the first few lectures and then we forget about that altogether. But it's fine. Introduction to pandas data structures. Okay. And I'll just add a comment here. Working with a pandas series. So let's talk a bit. You see, the two most powerful data structures, or think of it as the two most powerful types of tables that pandas gives us access to, is called, as you know, we've covered one up here. One is called the data frame. The other is called a series. Okay, they are both tabular like, table like in nature. Okay, they can store data in it. Now let's talk about a pandas series. So what I'd like you guys to know and understand is that a series is a one-dimensional array-like object. Okay, so let me comment that. A series is a 1D array-like object. This is not difficult to understand, guys, considering we have a lot of experience with regards to the terminology that is used when working with array-like objects and lists and so on. So basically, data structures. So that's fine. A series is a 1D array-like object. Now, what's important to know about the series is that it has the ability, or say, let's just say, the series contains a sequence of values, okay, and the types of these values, the data types of these values, they can be very similar to that of the data types we saw in NumPy. Now, the series contains the sequence of values, and it also contains an array of data labels. Okay, the data labels are referred to as the index. Data labels of a series is called the index. Now, the simplest series The most simple kind of series that you can get in pandas is in the form of a 1D array, which is basically just a regular array. So let's view this. I will like to create an object here. Let's just call this obj is equals to pd.series. Okay guys, pay careful attention to the case or the notation in which we are using the objects themselves. Series needs to be in a capital S. Okay, so the way in which we can create a series, one of the most simplest way is to basically pass a standard Python array to the object. So 4, 7, let's do -5 and 3. So that's fine. Now I see here it's invalid syntax, but that should go away. Yes, it just did. Anyway, object is equals to pd.series 4, 7, -5 and 3. Now here comes the best part. If you are a beginner, go ahead, run this, observe what you obtain. The results will surprise you. It is really very cool. It's really interesting. So control enter, and as you guys can see, we obtain this little tabular like, I would say, structure. Okay, and if you look in your variable explorer, if you are in Spider IDE, what you can see is that we are working with our objects here. So we have a variable called obj, the one we just created. The type of this object is a series, so let me X that. The size of this series is 4, telling us that there are 4 values inside the series object. And yes, that's about it. Now, when you ran the script, you saw what we obtained. Okay, this little table that has 2 columns, or so it appears, and it has 4 rows. Now let's talk about this, guys. You see, I told you a series is a one-dimensional array-like object. It has a sequence of values. The sequence of values in the series is 4, 7, -5, 3. Now you may ask yourself, what is the 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on? Now guys, that's what we call the index. Okay, if you have worked with databases or spreadsheets before, you are likely to have a better understanding, but if you did not to worry. So guys, basically an index is what helps us to query the table. When we need to run a few tests on the table itself, when we need to retrieve data, if we want to manipulate data in general, instead of looping through the table and kind of just creating a mess with the data, we can simply call the values and use them just by indexing them. It's very similar to how we index arrays, using zero indexing in Python. That is exactly what the index does for us. It allows us to kind of, I would say, quicken the processes that we are performing on the data structure itself. So that's fine, as long as you understand, okay, that we have a series here. This is a series, and it shows the index on the left and the value on the right. Now that's fine. And since we did not specify an index for the data, right, by default, what you'll see is that it starts at 0 and it ends at n-1, n being the number of values you have. In our case, the number of values were 4. So the series index will end at 4 minus 1, which is 3, as you see. That's fine. Now, what I'd also like to show you is that you have the ability to actually obtain the array representation of the index via the value. So basically, we can get the values from the series without the index. Now, when we get the values of the series, the values in the series without the index, like look at this for example, we are getting the values from the series without the index. What this tells us is that we are only going to receive 4, 7, -5, and 3. That's a 1D array. So to do that, what we can do is, let me do let's just call this obj values is equals to obj dot values. That's all, guys. And if you run this, well, nothing shows now because we actually need to print obj values. But before even printing, as you guys can see, in the variable explorer, we have a new object, obj values. The type is a standard Python array. There are 4 elements in it, and these are the elements in that array. So let's run this. As you guys will see, we have that there. Now, that's fine. If you would like to obtain the index, so just like how we can get the values, the elements inside the series, you can also only get the index itself, just the range. So to do that, what you'll want to do is, so let me say, we can get the, or let's say the index range without the values. So to do that, what we do, let's create an object obj index is equals to obj dot, and you guessed it, index. Print obj index. And as you guys can see, here we have it in the variable explorer. This is what we have. Obj index. So the type is a range index. That's another object that Pandas provides us with. Range index, just think of it as your standard Python range. It starts at 0, stops at 4, and the step is by default 1. So the step, or the stop rather, it is exclusive, okay, as you guys know, by default. So that's fine. Now, that's all for this video, guys. I am going to end the video here. We've got a very good start, into the Python Pandas package. And the next video, and next couple of videos rather, we will continue to just go crazy with the Pandas package, and we'll explore as much as we can. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for staying till the end of the video. Good luck with your work, and I will see you in the next YouTube video.